It's called a promo,
Shut
kid,
your
and
mouth,
if you want to
John.
be the big dog, you're going to have to learn how to do it, so go ahead.
You ready? No! I said, are you ready?
That was good. Glad you finally decided to pull that giant stick out of your butt and have some fun for once in your life.
You're uneducated marks! You sit there on your phones tweeting out your opinions like they're worth a damn. Let me explain something to you people. You don't know shit!
And I'd like to think that maybe this company will be better after Vince McMahon's death.
I don't know what's going on with CM Punk, but you guys have had some barn burners in WWE. Would you like to see Phil Brooks back in WWE? Oh, Philly Phil, stay away, you cancer. Get away from me forever. Wow. Yeah, no, I don't like Phil. He's a jerk. Oh, did we just figure that out? No, everybody in the room is like, oh no, dude, did he say that? Yeah, no, he's a jerk. Come on, we figured it out over there. We do it over here. I don't want him back. Go do something else. Bye-bye. See you later. Here's a spindrift and a muffin. There we go. That was an all-out joke. Oh, he had the spindrift, didn't he? He had the spindrift and he was eating it. And he was the muffin. He was muffining. Yeah. The muffin was covered in blood, and he was like in my face about my improv. No. Sorry, I won't be that harsh. That's fine, man.
Man. Alright. Shake it all off. Shake it all on. However you feel like you gotta shake it. I've been a bit speechless here lately. Last night was Survivor Series, and the impossible became possible. CM Punk is back in the WWE. Yeah, Dragunov's my champion. Hey, shout out to Dragunov, he's my champion. Fucking CM Punk, back in the WWE. I've been speechless, like I said, and as a podcast host, it's not good for my field of profession to be speechless, but nonetheless, I'm doing this episode with a speechless demeanor because I still just cannot believe that. Nowhere down the line of prepping for the Thanksgiving special of this show did I plan to talk about CM Punk as much as we're about to. And me and Dylan always joke about it every week here, how we can't believe that we talk about CM Punk as much as we do, and we don't understand how this motherfucker just creeps into every conversation we have. For whatever reason, he does. He's like a little pest that just creeps his way in to every conversation. And that said, now it's going to be impossible not to talk about him. He's that fucking polarizing. There's no other word to describe him. And yeah, the impossible became possible. That's all I can fucking say. So that noted, we'll get into Survivor Series here a little bit later. For those of us who are joining for the first time and don't know what's going on already, this is our Thanksgiving special, and I decided to implement a Thanksgiving tradition I've had since I was a kid into this show. When I was a kid, back in the SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 days, I one Thanksgiving decided to play GM mode all day, and it kind of became a Thanksgiving tradition for me throughout the years to play GM mode every Thanksgiving. And so this year, I decided I was going to implement that into the show, and we're doing a GM mode, which this GM mode will extend out through the course of this show's duration. However long we're doing this show, we're going to be doing this GM mode off and on. But that said, I decided to start it this Thanksgiving, being it's my Thanksgiving tradition. And as you can see here, we're setting up a match. If you're watching the video version's available wherever this podcast is available. So if you're watching right now, you see that I have Tozawa versus Carl Anderson versus Okada for the hardcore title. What a sentence that was to say. And like I was saying a bit ago, if this confused you too, and you're not looking, Dragunov is my WCW champion. I decided to run both WCW and SmackDown because I kind of like the duality of running two shows versus two shows. It's just a lot more stimulation. But sometimes I can get overstimulated, and that's probably what this episode will be. Being that, again, CM Punk is back in the WWE. That opening clip that we run, our intro, literally that last line just doesn't feel like it should even be there anymore. It doesn't even feel like this is real or exists. Like, CM Punk is back in the WWE. The man that said maybe it would be better after Vince McMahon is dead. And Vince McMahon isn't dead, guys. He's not dead. Now, creatively, he's dead. He's not really doing much for the company as far as I'm concerned. He's like a huge step away now after the Endeavor deal from being in a creative position. But rumors also surfaced that Stephanie McMahon was at Survivor Series last night, so there's a lot of shit in the fold here, guys. There's a lot of shit going into play here, and what I wouldn't do to be a fly on the wall backstage for these types of conversations, because, like, how did any of this come about? Oh my goodness. Speaking of Triple H, right there, what's he got to say? Oh, he's just wishing me, Kurt Angle, the general manager of SmackDown, good luck. Does he know that Jamie Hayter is my inaugural SmackDown Women's Champion? Let's see. Who did I put the Universal title on? I fucking love GM mode. I put it on Swerve, I believe. Yeah, I put it on Swerve. I remember now. I was on the top rope. I caught a vibe. Fun story, too. Fun fact. This isn't the first recording of this episode. I'm going to break the fourth wall here and let you guys know that I was doing this episode's recording the first time around. I got about 20 minutes into a very good episode, which, again, we got a good episode right here, right now, but I had about 20 minutes worth of good episode already recorded, and we had the audio get corrupted and just completely wiped out, so it was unsalvageable, and I was pretty down about it. I was pretty beat up. I was like, come on. I was 20 minutes into a hell of a show, and I lost all of that recording. But in the wise words of John Cena, we never give up. We never give up here at Wrestling in the Middle, and I knew that regardless of losing that, I was just going to start from the top and do this episode, because really this episode's doing itself. There's so much shit to talk about from this past week. We'll get back to Survivor Series. We got to start with Raw, and I'll break away casually. We got a long episode today, so it's okay. I'll break away casually from time to time to look at this GM mode we got here on the screen, kind of recollect and recall some of the shit I put together, have a good laugh. Also, I simulate everything, but pay-per-view at the end of this GM run, I play through some of the matches. I kind of have a little cheat and dictate who gets what and where we go from that point forward. So it'll be really fun. Thank you guys for tuning in, and stay tuned in for this GM mode shit. It gets really juicy at some points, as most GM modes do. Going to Raw from this past week, and I actually probably had one or two more notes than what I'm going to give you, but they got deleted from trying to do the first episode. That's the only reason I really brought that up, is because some of those first Raw notes got deleted. It's okay. It's totally okay. We're going to just roll right through. So, rolling through and not getting rolled up into the pen here. Judgment Drew, as I call him, not actually with the Judgment Day. And maybe that's a misconception. I really thought he was with the Judgment Day going in, but he is working with them. He is going to War Games with them, and War Games was a hell of a fucking time. Like I said, we'll get there. Dylan, at this past Monday, even though it's his week off, he made sure to make sure that I knew that Xia Li and Becky Lynch had a good match, and that the crowd was into it, which I agree. And with Xia Li, great match, or good match at least. We're going to talk more about her on NXT, I feel like, than Raw, but I have notes on her for both, because she had a good match with Becky Lynch on Raw. NXT, she had a great match with Lyra Valkyria. So, again, we'll get to Xia Li a little bit more when we get to NXT. But hold on, I had to pause my GM mode for a second. We had a little bit of a technical difficulty, but here we go. We're back. We got Lita and Blair Davenport as women's tag champs, which is actually a great segue for me to get to Tegan Nox and Natalya becoming the number one contenders for the women's tag titles, which I'm not against. I'm not against them being the number one contenders for the tag titles. I just think we're entering are re-entering this kind of era where we clusterfuck a bunch of women together and call it a tag division. And maybe it works out into something. Maybe I need to let it play out, like I always say. But I don't know. It kind of just feels like a bit of a clusterfuck in a sense. So, and again, I'm not against them being the number one contenders by any means. I'm not against Io Sky beating Jamie Hayter for the women's title here on our GM mode. Just saw that happened. But it just, again, it feels like a bit of a clusterfuck. Now, here's what could get interesting, I guess, depending on how you look at it. Ivar challenging Bronson Reed to a meaty men match. Not actually. He didn't actually challenge him to some meaty men stipulation, but I mean, that's knowing how the crowds have been reacting to these type of matches lately. That's why I say that. Because I feel like he knows, and WWE knows, I should say, this is a meaty men match. We're going to see some big meaty men bumping meat. Should I bust the clip out? I'm not going to bust the clip out. I've busted it out 3 times over this season, so maybe I'm not allowed to do that. What do we got going here on GM mode? That loser Luke attacked me during the last fight. Oh, we got Undertaker and Luke Gallows. Is that a big meaty men match? I don't think so. I don't know. Well, we can upgrade to the Reverb Room. That's actually my favorite venue, to be honest. I love that the Reverb Room is a venue on 2K, and it's just some little bar, little venue you can go play a show at. You can go rock out with the Hulk Hogan WrestleMania band, and then you can also go wrestle. You can go wrestle The Undertaker if you're Luke Gallows. Shinsuke, Chad Gable, have a little mid-card classic. How about that? Again, it wasn't like an over-the-top match. A lot of these times, I bring up a mid-card match that was really good. It's not necessarily over the top, and it's probably not going to be because it's WWE giving top-tier athletes like 5 to 10 minutes to put something together. And hey, shout out to the professionals that do it. Shout out to the professionals like Shinsuke and Chad Gable who go out there, say, hey, we got 8 minutes to work. We're going to throw something together that actually gets a little bit of excitement out of this crowd. It got some excitement out of me at home. So here we go. We got Ospreay versus Dragunov for the WCW title in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Interesting to see how that'll play out. It was so hard when doing this not to try to play matches frequently. Like I said, during the pay-per-view, I kind of cheat and I'll play through some matches, and I wanted to do that too, just to kind of give the pay-per-view a little bit extra, pizzazz feeling. But it was so hard not to play through a lot of these matches, because me being me and having like long-term creative ideas, I wanted to keep the title on certain people for certain amounts of time. Like, I wanted to build shit up and let it play out. And when you simulate things and, like, people just start losing the title randomly here and there, and you're like, fuck, well, I was hoping that you would retain here so you could lose it over here when we're at a 4-star rivalry. That was definitely hard, but at the same time, it would have taken a lot more time, and I feel like, in some sense, it would have taken a bit of the fun out of it. So, back to Raw. Drew and Jey Uso close out the show with a good match. Really good match. Drew wins, picking up the advantage for Judgment Day inside War Games. And we get the official announcement that Randy Orton will return. This is fucked up to me. Again, we already know. It's Monday now. We already know what the fuck's going on. Randy Orton returns after nearly 2 years of being gone, and it's a big fucking deal. It's a pretty fucking big deal. They're selling merch already. Haven't even seen his face yet. We're selling merch already. And smart play by WWE here for getting the Randy Orton thing over and selling merch before CM Punk was even a thing or a thought. Again, I know it was a thought for a lot of you, and I sincerely apologize to all the internet marks that clamored about this, that I was like, they are dead wrong. They need to drop it. They need to let it go. I'm the one who's wrong. I'm the one who deserves to falter and has to sit here and apologize because what the fuck? CM Punk is back in the WWE, and that overshadows now the fact that Randy Orton, a person who was gone for almost 2 years, returned the same night. Again, smart play by WWE by like letting that Randy Orton thing get the pop it deserved. They're like, hey, we're going to focus in on this Randy Orton's returning thing. Everyone's going to focus on that, which, again, those fucking CM Punk marks did not. All night they were clamoring CM Punk chants. So for him to return, again, this is the point I'm trying to make. I'm just so fucking oversaturated on the subject right now. For him to return and then, in a sense, overshadow the return of Randy Orton. Nobody's even talking about that anymore. Does anybody remember that Randy Orton returned at Survivor Series, or did we forget? That's all I'm trying to say. Oh my goodness. What do we got going on GM mode here? Oh, Adam Pearce of NXT trying to wish me luck. Yeah, sure. How did they get Hollywood Hulk Hogan on NXT? Well, if you want to know that, you got to go to the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, Baby Basile, and go watch the draft. Go head on over there, watch the draft video. I released it several days ago, so that way you guys could kind of get a preview for what we're going to do here today at GM Mode. Also, while you're over there, go check out some episodes we have uploaded there. We have the video version of some of our Wrestling in the Middle episodes uploaded there. You can go check out a lot of cool shit there. And Thanksgiving as well, I released some War Games. I played through some War Games matches and put those up on the YouTube channel. So go head over there, subscribe, watch some Wrestling in the Middle content, and hang out. Wonder if CM Punk ever hangs out and watches Wrestling in the Middle. I doubt it. I feel like we're not problematic enough for Phil. Yeah, I called him Phil. I feel like an adult now because I called him Phil. Yeah, I don't guess I've earned the right to address him by his first name. Like, I really don't know the motherfucker. Let's head over to NXT. Instead of sitting on CM Punk for another 10 minutes, let's head over to NXT. Which, funny enough, excuse me, I gotta clear my throat. Funny enough, I have a lot of NXT notes this week, and cue the fucking violin music. It's kind of sad that Dylan's not here, because some of these NXT notes, I need him for. Some of these NXT notes, I don't even understand. I need him to explain what they're doing. So, that said, it's a Thanksgiving special. We got Taz and Swerve Strickland in a steel cage for the Universal title. It's the Thanksgiving special, everybody. Chad Gable, Noam Dar, start the NXT show off with a badass NXT Heritage Cup match. And ends in a draw. Was really hoping Gable would win it. I know it was a bit of a stretch for me to hope that, and like maybe too Americana for me to hope for that. But man, would that have been really cool for Chad Gable to just up and win the Heritage Cup. And like I feel like it adds some flavor to the Alpha Academy swag that's been going on. Like they're really over right now. So anyway, Basile next on NXT. It felt weird that there was an NXT women's title match second on the show, but we know why, because Basile attacks Lyra before the match even begins. No worries, match is still happening later in the night. That's a good thing for us. Huge surprise when Josh Briggs beat Carmelo Hayes for a spot in the Iron Survivor Challenge. I did not see that coming, just because, again, maybe I don't understand the hype behind Josh Briggs, and I need a co-host here who's prevalent on this stuff to make me understand why Josh Briggs is in the Iron Survivor Challenge over Carmelo Hayes. And the Matt Hardy advice I always spew out to people to let it play out, I seriously need to take myself, because it didn't feel like Carmelo Hayes was somebody to keep out of that match. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I need to let it play out. Let's see. Let me focus on GM mode again one time. Make sure nothing over the fucking top is happening. I did promise Wade Barrett a grudge match. Him and Bray Wyatt got a badass feud for the IC title going as well. My SmackDown show doesn't start off the best, but it gets better and better. So, all right. Here's my question. Why did Mr. Stone's kids look like Von Wagner? What are we implying here? What was being implied there? Again, this is why I need my co-host here, because only he can tell me why Mr. Stone's kids look like Von Wagner. Now, this is another thing I'm saving for when Dylan comes back. I'm not even deleting this note. I'm saving this for when Dylan comes back, because it's getting way too cheesy for me. This is getting way too cheesy for me. Though Thea Hale looked solid in her match, which she did win, I'm saving the Chase U stuff for when Dylan comes back. Thea Hale looked solid. Excuse me, I had to clear my throat again. That was killing me. I ain't even gonna lie to you guys. There's no need to stop the tape or nothing. I was having a bit of a choke up moment there. I could not breathe and I just needed to clear my throat. Thea Hale looked solid in her match, like I said. She didn't win. Blair Davenport qualifies for the Iron Survivor Challenge, but Thea Hale looked really good in that match. And with the Chase U thing kind of breaking apart, like I see her breaking away from Chase U, but I just don't fully understand the Chase U stuff, and I don't think I really want to, because it's kind of like weird and cheesy and awkward, and that's why I need Dylan here. Also, just like I need my friend, Eddie Thorpe needs some friends. That motherfucker is getting beat up a lot, I see, and he's getting jumped, and he needs some friends. So maybe that's another thing Dylan can explain when he comes back. Now, main event of the show, we're getting back here to Xia Li. Solid match for 10 minutes. Like, again, I was just talking about this. I was just explaining this. Shout out to the athletes that are given 8 to 10 minutes to really put something together when you know a good quality match goes 15 to 20 minutes. 10 minutes, Lyra and Xia Li give a good match to the people. Lyra retains, of course, and Xia Li is starting to get fan traction here by having these matches with Becky and Lyra. And I really hope WWE rolls this momentum over to something good for her creatively. Like, I don't know where Xia Li's story goes from all of this kind of jumbled mess that she's had going on with Becky Lynch and then with Lyra Valkyria. But all the while, I'm really hoping WWE rolls that over into something, because as Dylan pointed out when he texted me this Monday, there is something going here, and like it didn't seem like fans were really resonating with it and weren't really getting over with it at all. But now we see it here, because the quality of matches are living up to the build up. All these like little puzzle pieces that didn't really seem to fit kind of get overshadowed or overlaid by the fact that like here's great quality matches, and maybe that's what they weren't getting to see from Xia Li before, because she didn't have that opportunity. That WWE creatively was trying to put her in this position to be something else that would have been cool, but it just wasn't working proper. It just wasn't. And so I'm glad that this seems to be working better, and I just hope WWE rolls that over. What do we got going in the GM mode? I'm looking through my roster here. Was I about to fire someone? Did I fire somebody? I'm not even going to rewind the tape. We don't have time to rewind anything, but rest in peace if anyone got fired. What's the main event here? What are we doing in the main event? Excuse me while I cough, too. I got to clear my throat again. It's because I smoked too much before the show, and I didn't eat my cough drop that I always eat. I got some nice handy-dandy water down here, though. That's always helpful. That's always a helpful tool. Excuse me. Plus, with the weather changes and stuff, getting colder, just trying to keep up with my health and not get sick, man. So much mucus all the time. I was about to do Omega versus Okada. You gotta build to that, son. You gotta build to that. I was just trying to figure it out here. You can see my brain working like, okay, how am I going to implement rivalries and cross them into each other? I love that the main event is a steel cage match with Undertaker and Gallows. Shout out to Luke Gallows. Good brother. Now we move on to good old Dynamite. I was ready to move over to some AEW stuff too. It felt like it was all WWE for a minute there, and it kind of is for this episode. I feel like so much stuff at Survivor Series. I cannot stress enough. We'll probably be an hour into this episode before we get to Survivor Series. With all the stops I'm going to make along the way to acknowledge it, we might not even make it to Survivor Series. I'm kidding. We're making it. We're making it. So, this happened before Dynamite, but we're just throwing it into the Dynamite notes. I was watching the YouTube video as well. I was watching the AEW YouTube. Continental Classic participants announced. Gold side, Jay White, Jon Moxley, Swerve Strickland, Jay Lethal, Mark Briscoe, Rouge. Blue side, Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, Brody King, Eddie Kingston, Daniel Garcia, Andrade. So, the show and tournament starts with Swerve Strickland facing Jay Lethal in a classic bout where we see Swerve pick up a deserved win. Well-deserved win. Hoping to see him go far within this tournament. That said, Dynamite, we're focusing on the gold side. Didn't realize that was going to be a thing, and I'm wondering, too, in my head, is this kind of like hinting at AEW maybe wanting to do a brand split? Because a lot of people are complaining now. They have too many titles. And now with the Continental Classic, they're kind of doing this thing where they have a blue side on one show and a gold side on another. So maybe that's AEW kind of hinting at a brand split here? I don't know. But nonetheless, gold side comes in on Dynamite, and we start off with a good match. Swerve Strickland, Jay Lethal. We'll get on to the next one here in a minute, but Better Than You, Baby pulled up. Get a little beat up, but getting all the pops. They're a little beat up from Full Gear. It's a fucking hell of a pay-per-view. Go back to last week's episode and listen to our Full Gear, Full of Disagreements episode, and listen to what the fuck I have to say. Because if you didn't listen to that last week, I highly need you to. I went off on some of these internet marks talking about Jay White getting buried. I'm predicting right now Jay White versus Bryan Danielson in the finals of this Continental Classic tournament, and I see Jay White going over and winning this whole tournament. I'm putting it out there. And again, for you guys to sit there and say that he got buried out of being in the top feud in the company for a month and a half, shut the fuck up. That's what I said. I said, shut the fuck up. So, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if we're still talking about this now that the CM Punk thing happened, but I'm pretty sure the Devil sounded just like Jack Perry. And I wasn't on that theory at all until now. But whenever that motherfucker started talking, I heard Jack Perry. I'm sorry. Samoa Joe also pulled up for his world title match and getting it at the World's End pay-per-view. That's another thing that happened, but I think my Bullet Club, David Finlay and the Bullet Club being behind the devil mask and all that theory was valid, and then I started to lean more towards like, okay, what if it's Adam Cole? Could be Adam Cole. Like, I feel like his heel turn is coming soon. I feel like the feud between Adam Cole and MJF one-on-one is going to heat up soon at the beginning of January. So it made sense creatively. Like, Adam Cole could be the devil. But that motherfucker started talking, and I said, that's Jack Perry. That voice, oh, that's Jack Perry. Excuse me. Wet my whistle here. What's going on the GM mode? Also, Orton and CM Punk aren't the only ones that returned. Fucking Danhausen has finally returned. Like, that's another thing. I feel like nobody's talking about all the crazy shit that happened this past week because one man came back. Yeah, moment of silence for that one. Danhausen, you deserve the world. And I'm glad he's back. He put a curse on Jack Hager. He just randomly pulled the fucking hat out. It's like, I like this hat too, and I have it. It's the same hat you've been wearing. I kid. The main event, a Fatal 4-Way TLC for the IC title. Noted. Let's see. Let's watch this WCW card play out. Okay, Zoe Stark, Beth Phoenix, tag champs. Rivalry growing between Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. Kenny Omega versus Seth Rollins. Love it, love it. Mediocre my ass. Carl Anderson calling out Tozawa. Dragunov and Okada. Dragunov wins the hardcore title. Double champion over here. Which, with the Ospreay running, I was expecting Okada to win. I remember that. Who wins the cage match? It's the American Badass. Yeah, fuck their show. Christian Cage segment gets insane. Back to Dynamite, sorry. Should have warned you guys. Christian Cage segment gets insane as he changes Luchasaurus' name to Killswitch. Then roasts Nick Wayne's mom. Then Lucha Killswitch turned and helped Nick Wayne's mom. Then turned again and helped Christian and almost concerto Nick Wayne's mom. But instead, Nick Wayne gets concertoed in front of his mom by Edge. It was fucking nuts. I had to write it all down and read it out like that because it was fucking nuts. Oh my gosh. It's like a headache even reading that. Okay. Another fucking Continental Classic tournament match happened. Jay White and Roosh. Which Jay White, the supposed buried star, picks up the win. Side note, Jay White is actually my pick to win this tournament. Which I already told you guys all that. Sorry I'm just reading off my script here, but like, seriously, I'm fucking mad at that fact. I think simmering on it for a week, and shout out to Wade Barrett for retaining that IC title, but simmering on that for a week and listening back to the clip of me on last week's show, I'm a little bit angry too. Like, how fucking dare you guys say that? It just goes to show, and I can't sit here and get that triggered by it, truthfully. I can't get that triggered by it. It just goes to show, like, wrestling fans are never truly happy and will always find something to complain about. You guys are fucking ridiculous. Let's see who wins Adam Pearce's NXT title match here. Is it R-Truth? Is it Hogan? Truthy! It's R-Truth, baby! R-Truth beat Hollywood Hogan for the NXT title today. In today's history. Man. When Jay White beats Bryan Danielson in the finals of the Continental Classic, as much as I'm rooting for Danielson, as much as I'm all the way for Bryan Danielson, when that happens, there will be a big, huge fuck you, I told you so coming at all of you on the internet. I'm saying that motherfucking shit now. It's coming. The I told you so is coming, and do not get mad when it comes because it is what it is. Thanks for the rematch against Gallows. Told you I'd get the win. Blair Davenport doesn't like losing the tag titles. I'm saying it every damn week. Toni Storm is entertaining as shit. Her victory speech was fucking legendary, and I cried. It was so heartfelt and emotional that I cried. I'm so happy to see her win the award of 3-time AEW Women's Champion. It's hard to say that with a straight face. I fucking love the whole... I love how this gimmick is just like flowing out into so many different creative outlets. Like, okay, now we're doing black and white vignettes during the picture-in-picture. We're doing silent movie film. And now we're doing award shows. It adds so much flavor to it. And I love that. I love when there's so many layers to a gimmick that it's an impeccable character. It's an impeccable character, and her character work is above par right now. Main event of Dynamite, Moxley versus Briscoe, and it holds up. It holds up. I'll stamp it right now. It holds up. I also stamped getting AJ Styles signed. I saw that right there on my screen. I signed AJ Styles to WCW. Mox picking up the first tournament win. Hard-hitting match. Hard-hitting match, which so was the main event of Collision too, but we're not quite there yet. Just really good tournament wins on Dynamite from Swerve Strickland and Jon Moxley, and I'm really interested to see on that gold side who advances into the finals. I mean, again, Jay White is my pick to advance in the finals, but I want to see who advances to get to that point. Like, who faces Jay White to get to the finals? And that semifinals, I guess I should say. I should clarify more. I'm looking to see who gets into that other semifinal spot. So, excuse me while I cough again for one moment. That time I really pushed it. I said, I want to get my throat as cleared as possible. Please, guys, I'm so sorry. Excuse me for having to cough so much. It's a lot of talking and a lot of dry throat. That's why I got this big bottle of water with me today. Normally I'm drinking like coffee, or I'll have an energy drink because we'll be recording a little later in the day. But since I'm running the solo mission today, I decided big bottle of water, and that's it. That's it, just me and my water. Also, I decided I was going to record at 7 in the morning rather than 12 in the afternoon. There it is. I had lost my lid. Put that lid back on so we don't spill all over the equipment. Coming on over to SmackDown now, and not my GM mode SmackDown, actual SmackDown that happened in real life. Profits are down bad. That's the note. Profits are down bad. And so is Becky and Charlotte's friendship, as always. Arguing before War Games, which I'll probably ask in this week's poll which War Games match was better, unless I gotta make some shit about CM Punk like everything else is right now, which I don't want to. I think this week's poll is gonna be which War Games match was better. Was it the women's or the men's? Because that women's War Games match was fucking phenomenal. That said, Becky and Charlotte had us going into this match off of Friday looking like, alright, they're not getting along. So, poor Street Profits just getting fucking ran over on that tag title match. Profits are down bad. I fucking love that note. Also, I love that, I didn't even really think about this until now. I love that I drafted Sky Blue to SmackDown, the blue brand. That's pretty A1, if I might say so myself. Good thing I got these fucking cough drops on deck here on the table. I'm gonna put a cough drop in, see if that helps out while we run through this SmackDown thing. And hey, we just signed Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley to SmackDown. 2 members of the BCC here on the blue brand. Then I released Liv Morgan. Poor Liv. Liv got fucking sold for 2 members of the BCC. Can't blame me. Boom. This, now I'm talking about SmackDown in real life, not the SmackDown we're watching here where Taz and Swerve Strickland are vying for the Universal title. In real life, give Kevin Owens the Universal title. I can't keep forgetting he is one of a kind and wildly entertaining. At the very least, less Grayson Waller effect, more KO show, please. Let's just go ahead and stop running the Grayson Waller effect every week and get back to this era and time where we run the KO show every week. Please and thank you. Santos getting a solid storyline with Carlito that quickly heats up, but I did not expect them to replace Carlito with Dragon Lee on the pay-per-view card. good for Dragon Lee, but as a fan, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I don't know if they think that it's a better idea or there's more fan interaction by putting Dragon Lee in the match as opposed to Carlito. Or maybe Carlito is actually hurt and I'm just calling it bullshit, but I don't think Carlito's actually injured at all. And that said, I feel like there's more pay-per-view interest in watching Carlito wrestle right now than Dragon Lee, which isn't saying Carlito's a better wrestler than Dragon Lee, so calm your fucking tits. There's not some implication here that Dragon Lee sucks. Dragon Lee's phenomenal. I just don't think he's in the position that Carlito is in right now to have a quality pay-per-view match that people want to watch. Okay, a quality pay-per-view interest, I should say. So, that replacement just didn't make any fucking sense to me. Again, good for Dragon Lee, and the match holds up in its own right. You go to Survivor Series, you watch the match, it's a good match. It didn't make sense to replace Carlito. Maybe he's actually hurt. Maybe I'm just talking shit. British Bulldog versus Jon Moxley, that's a banger. Ridge Holland walks out on Pete Dunne, and we see the return of the Bruiserweight. We need more Bruiserweight. Did I really replace British Bulldog with Farouk? Damn, just to run Claudio versus the Bulldog. I kind of wish I'd ran Moxley versus the British Bulldog now, looking back. It is what it is. We need more Bruiserweight. Should have put him on the fucking pay-per-view card. Did I even draft Butch at any point in this? I don't know that I did. Again, I hate that his name is Butch in the game, so I want to draft Pete Dunne, not Butch. I want the return of the Bruiserweight. Excuse the cough again. I got this Vicks VapoCool cough drop in, though, and that is not a plug. They are not a sponsor. They're just A1 when it comes to cough drops. They can get a free plug from me. Ugh. Keeping it light, too. Keeping it light on the pay-per-view, because I just got two more, I guess, shows to cover before we really dive into that pay-per-view. But did you guys know CM Punk returned at that pay-per-view? I know, at Survivor Series, CM Punk returned, and I don't think anybody knows that, and this is breaking news now. I joke, I kid. I'm sorry. I needed a bit of a reliever there, because it is fucking hard to do this episode alone with so much gravity going on in the wrestling world, and I'll tell you what, I am excited to get back to having a co-host here. Not only a co-host, the best co-host. My co-host is better than yours type shit. I do have, at least keeping me company, my WWF Big Eagle Championship. Not WWE Shop official, of course. I shop with Triple B Belts, sponsor of today's episode. You can check Triple B Belts out on eBay, Mercari, or Etsy and get you a good, affordable belt at an affordable price. And again, it's not that these are just complete dud belts either. These are good quality belts at an affordable price, and I cannot say that line enough. Tagline: cheap in price, not in quality, and I stand by that because I like this ability to just have a bit of a cheaper belt to take around with shows, and like, I don't mind that it gets scuffed up, it gets scratched up on something. Like, so many people buy these $300 to $500 belts and they put them on their shoulder and they keep them like pristine and make sure it doesn't touch anything, and like, I get that, but when I'm at a show, I'm moving. I want my belt to move with me. I don't want a big, heavy, stiff thing that I gotta protect at all times. So, that said, check out Triple B Belts and get you a belt that you don't mind taking to the show looking spiffy and clean and getting it roughed up a little bit. So, let's move on over here to a special Saturday Night Rampage where Tony Khan was like, hey, y'all running Survivor Series? At the same time, I will run Rampage and Collision. And I'm so sorry, Tony, that I watched Survivor Series instead. It wasn't like some competition in my head where I have to watch AEW over WWE or vice versa. I feel like Dylan, same way, doesn't feel like he has to watch WWE over AEW. As far as precedence and quality of content. Just felt like watching Survivor Series last night, especially with it being War Games. But while we were watching War Games, Tony Khan was having War Games of his own, running fucking Collision and Rampage at the exact same time as Survivor Series. And Rampage started off first. Started off the show with a solid match between Hook and Rocky Romero, which wasn't expecting that matchup, but it hit. It definitely hit. Also, another thing that hit from that Rampage, that 1 hour program, which I kind of spoiled. I pulled a Dylan, and I spoiled this for myself by watching Collision before Rampage accidentally, expecting kind of Rampage to be the closer. But on Rampage, we got an ROH Pure title match between Shibata and Wheeler Yuta. And like I said, I watched Collision first, so I kind of got to see who won this match after the fact, or before the fact, I should say. But get an ROH Pure title match between Shibata and Wheeler Yuta. Yuta wins back the Pure title, which wouldn't have been the move I made, but I'm not Tony Khan, so I'm not here to say, hey, bad move. Just was not expecting Wheeler Yuta to be the one to take the title off of Shibata. Rumors are that Shibata will be away in Japan for an extended period of time, which I kind of bad on me as a host of a show not to really do a little bit more research into this, because I really feel like this is something worth looking into, why Shibata is away for an extended period of time. I don't know if it's something to do with just personal matter, injury, or what, but it's definitely something that needs to be looked into. So while that SmackDown show's running right there and Bryan Danielson's beating Swerve Strickland, I'm going to look this up real quick. I'm going to see if we can dig a little bit. Why is Shibata away? Where did you go, Shibata? Okay, we're going to Wrestling Headlines here. That's the website, wrestlingheadlines.com. Let's give them some credit. Excuse me if I get quiet. Just enjoy GM mode for a moment while I read, so I can give you guys the tea. He's just needed. It just says, according to Fightful, he's needed in Japan for an extended period of time. Okay, reports are that he has been happy working for AEW ROH and Tony Khan. Yeah, no certainty on when he will return, but definitely looks like he will return. It's just obligation thing. So luckily there's no like super deep tea there to divulge in. He's just needed in Japan for a period of time, and though them dropping the title, him dropping the title to Yuta and kind of getting jumped after the match is just creative storyline, of course, which we knew that much. But I was under the impression that there might be something wrong there, and I was really hoping not, which I think a lot of us were in that same light. We were really hoping Shibata and Tony Khan didn't have some sort of like disagreement, or like there wasn't contractually enough going on there to keep him. So everything's fine. Shibata's fine. He's just over in Japan. Shoutouts to Shibata in Japan. What's going on in the fucking GM mode here? Adam Cole needs to resign. And I lowballed him. I'm sorry, Adam Cole. I'm just on a tight budget. I was on a tight budget. I'm so sorry, Adam Cole. Alright, on to Collision. First match of the blue side for the Continental Classic. Claudio versus Daniel Garcia kicks off the show. Claudio gets a win. Dank match. Daniel Garcia, I need you to know now, Daniel Garcia, you are a professional wrestler. Daniel Garcia, professional wrestler. Everybody, give him a hand. Give him a hand. Daniel Garcia, professional wrestler. Another thing that happened on Collision, Edge challenges Christian for the TNT title on December 6th, Dynamite in Montreal. So, something to look forward to there. I was talking about it last week. I'm really thirsty at this idea of Edge winning that TNT title. Go to your game right now. Go to 2K. Put the TNT title on Edge. Tell me, does that look fucking dope on him? It definitely does, and I'm thirsty at this idea. Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. What kind of match? In a Hell in a Cell, baby. Let's go. Oh yeah, we're at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. I'm with that. Okay. Dragunov Ospreay TLC match. Dude, this pay-per-view card gets fucking dank. Julia Hart defends her TBS title in a House Rules match against Lady Frost. Shout out to Lady Frost, but she did not get the job done. Wasn't expecting her to. Just trying to put Julia Hart over as the champion, and I get that. Her boo thing, Brody King, beats Eddie Kingston in a hard-hitting match. Do you hear how much I accentuated the fucking H in that? In a hard-hitting match. Picks up a tournament win. Excuse me, I had a little burp stuck there. That match was a fucking banger, though. They were beating the shit out of each other, and at one point, Eddie Kingston, I remember, smacked the absolute fuck out of Brody King's chest, and I was like, okay, you don't hit a man that big, that hard, and don't get a receipt coming to you. So, that'll close it out for the fucking collision notes, I know. Let's watch this GM mode a little closely here, since we're building a pay-per-view card, but hey, we're building a pay-per-view card. We're about to get into the pay-per-view that happened last night. That is Survivor Series, where the biggest return in professional wrestling happened twice, where Randy Orton returned after nearly 2 years and then got overshadowed by CM Punk returning. How long has it been since CM Punk was in the WWE? I mean, and don't count the Fox thing. Don't count the fucking Fox thing, please. It was like, what, the Rumble of 14 or something like that? Let me get my facts straight here. They don't want none. I saw AJ Styles. Is he cutting a promo? I love that the answer the internet gave me was last night. And like, his last appearance on WWE was last night. Oh my gosh, yeah, him returning last night headlines are so prevalent. It's hard to see when he was last there before that. I can't even talk. There's so many damn headlines. I'm sorry. Fuck off. Dun, dun. So many people are just fucking leeching on this. And again, like, so am I in a way. I'm reading Forbes right now, too. I'm reading a Forbes article. Not even a wrestling media article. A Forbes article. Now I gotta do the SmackDown pay-per-view card. Man, so sorry I'm getting so quiet while I'm letting you guys watch GM mode a little bit. I want to fucking find this info, and just like Randy Orton's return, CM Punk returning last night has fucking overshadowed everything I'm trying to do. Like, let's type in before last night, I guess, if I have to fucking specify to you people. And my headphone's stuck on my arm. I remember it was like at the Rumble in 2014 or some shit, but It'd be nice to get a clear-cut answer. Mm-hmm. So 9 years. Nearly a decade. Still can't get a clear-cut answer. There we go. Nope. It just says 2014 was the last time he was there, which I'm like 99% sure it was at that Rumble. And I gotta move on. Sorry. But hey, shout out to all the fucking news media outlets that overcovered this subject. Again, you can't not talk about him, and that's part of the problem, isn't it? Diving into the fucking Survivor Series pay-per-view now, man. I don't even know that I'm ready. In fact, don't get to Survivor Series pay-per-view yet. Yeah, suspense. Let it build for one more minute. What do we got going on this Extreme Rules pay-per-view? Surely something better, right? Okay. It's a last man standing match. Bray Wyatt was injured, so who was I gonna pick? You could tell right there. I could not figure it out. I said, start from scratch here. A man just trying to figure it out. But you got this. There you go. Even I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Hey, whatever works, right? Whatever it takes. Made a triple threat match for the Universal title. Taz, Danielson, and Swerve Strickland. Okay. Which, remembering back, I'm pretty sure I changed that match, but go off. Women's War Games starts the show, and that did go off. That was fucking good. The Women's War Games, I would argue, might have been better than the men's, which main evented. Told you I changed that shit. Also, we got a rare R-Truth appearance last night. But back to that Women's War Games match. I wasn't expecting the win by Team Becky and Charlotte. Interested to see where all parties go from here. I was really expecting to see Damage Control pick up the win, or maybe even like Damage Control having sort of an implosion here where they turn on Bailey type deal. They jump Bailey inside War Games. Like, I was expecting a lot of fallout here within Damage Control, or maybe Damage Control winning first at least, but I didn't see the outcome being what it was. Didn't see Io Sky hitting that trash can spot off the steel cage. I don't think anybody would have anticipated that. That match is definitely a top 25 match of the year for me. The women went the fuck off. And this week's poll, like I said, which War Games match did you think was better? Excuse me. Did you think the women's or the men's War Games match was better? And disregard the fact that the men's included Randy Orton returning. Just look at it for match quality alone. Fucking rare R-Truth appearance. I popped for R-Truth. I think the crowd did too. If I remember correctly, the crowd had a good pop. But me at home, I was like, Truth! Truth! There you go. Get this pay-per-view built up. IC title match was a standard Intercontinental Classic. Like I was saying, a lot of conversation to be had now whether or not Gunther is the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. Beforehand, personally, I said that Jericho or Miz would be my selection for greatest IC champion of all time. Gunther changing the conversation more and more. And when we look at the greatest IC champions of all time, we really look at the modern era, and that's no discredit or disrespect to the golden era or the attitude era. those eras contained some of the greatest IC champions of all time too. But when we have the conversation of the greatest intercontinental champion of all time, my two personally, like I said, The Miz and Jericho. But you really look at this modern era of intercontinental champions where we've had that level of prestige raised, and The Miz is at that peak level. And again, you have the argument still, now that Gunther's beat The Miz, retained again, and going on 600 days, you have this question like, well, does longevity beat out consistency? Like, Miz has won it 8 times, Jericho 9 if you count the IWGP IC title win, which I do. I consider Jericho as winning 9, whereas WWE I think still considers him 8. But regardless, does Gunther's holding it for nearly 600 days beat that out? Oh, hey, check out our pay-per-view. We're getting into playing some matches now. Playing Will Ospreay versus Dragunov in the TLC match. But while we're loading that up, does Gunther's longevity beat that out is my question. And I can't say that it does, but we're entering the position now to where we might just have to say Gunther is the greatest intercontinental champion of all time. I said it. The sentence came out of my mouth and it was said. And it didn't feel wrong to say it when I said those words. It did not feel wrong. Solid women's title match. We knew it wasn't Zoe's time yet, but I still hope her time comes soon. Because my position going into the match was, I don't see Zoe winning. I'll root for her. I'm going to be rooting for her. If nothing else, I know she's going to look good in this match. I knew if nothing else, Zoe Starks will come out of that title match looking good. And she did. She did. I raised the bar in my head on how good she was going to look. I thought she would look like she was just about to win it. Whereas they had a good contest. Rhea Ripley won. True and through. Fair and square. Like, no negotiation. And I'm not saying that the match needed to have like a questionable finish. I'm just saying I was expecting Zoe Starks to come like within an inch of winning the title, like having you on the edge of your seat type deal. And maybe I expected too much, and that's on me. I don't think Zoe Starks came out of this looking bad, like I said. I just think she could have looked better. And again, if that's the critique, if that's the analysis, is that she could have looked better to where she already looked good, you're in a good position already. So I'm ready for this TLC title match between Ospreay and Dragunov. I'm about to dive into the men's War Games, which I know is going to be a fucking chunk of time, but I'm excited to watch this title match, this TLC match right here. Dragunov. I wonder if anybody questions too why I haven't been mentioning him lately, considering he's the NXT champion. It's because I'm still waiting for the Baron Corbin Dragunov rivalry to get like legs under it and give me something to talk about. And I think this past week they started that. I don't feel like this past week was necessarily the point in where I was like, okay, I have to start talking about it. But it was the point in which I was like, this is something to keep my eyes on now. There is interest here. So I just don't like Baron Corbin personally, man. I just think he's a jackass. Ugh. See, I know I gotta break down War Games, but now I'm watching this match. I'm fucking tuned in. Fun fact. Before streaming was even a fucking thing, this is not only how old I am in a sentence, but also how fucking ahead of my time I was as a kid. Before streaming was even a thing, I used to record my SmackDown vs. Raw matches on VHS tape. I would record my SmackDown vs. Raw matches on VHS tape and then watch them back. Fucking ahead of my time. War Games. Clear my throat. It's War Games time. Starts without Randy. This made me think Punk was going to come out. At that was the point when Randy Orton didn't show up. That's the point in which I thought he's either going to enter in the last 5 minutes of the show, or holy shit, this is true, CM Punk is actually here. So, Randy Orton does come out. Maybe more than 5 minutes of the show. I mean, maybe it was like the last 10 to 15 for sure, right? Also, before we ever exit this match, the one thing we have to acknowledge more than anything, more than Randy coming back, more than Punk coming back, JD is a fucking hero for taking that RKO spot off the cage. Let me clear my throat and say that better. JD McDonough is a fucking hero for taking that RKO spot off of the top of the cage. That was insane, and he took that spot and had no complaints over it. Dangerous ass spot. I'm pretty sure he's okay, and I'm glad he's okay if he is. Thank you, JD McDonough, for putting your body on the line for us like that. Memorable moment. Crazy. It was crazy, too, seeing Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton team together again. It was a real blast from the past I wasn't expecting to get. I say that like I would never see the fucking day Punk came back to WWE. That's really all there is left to talk about, and because that's all anybody's talking about right now, it didn't seem possible the rumors would be true. At no point was I expecting it, and here's what's even more crazy to me and what pisses me off. It doesn't piss me off at anybody other than myself for not pulling the trigger sooner, I guess. But, you know, with the Through the Table episodes we run here on Through the Middle every Thursday at 6 p.m., we release our secondary show Through the Table, where we get a little bit spicier and we get a little bit more uncensored and unfiltered. And I love that show. We plan those out weeks in advance. A lot of the times where our episodes are recorded weeks before they're released, because we kind of just stack them up. We like to keep a good solid base on how many shows we have in case something happens and we just got to miss a week. We have a little bit of backup content. So those Through the Tables are planned out pretty precisely. And we were planning on running a CM Punk timeline episode in like, I'd say 2 to 3 weeks from now. It was when the CM Punk episode was supposed to get brought out. And it really peeves me off now because the timeline has changed and like the subject has changed as well. Like, we're not just dealing with CM Punk being fired from AEW and like the whole timeline of how he ended up where he did. The story continues. Not to be a dick, but Cody Rhodes is not finishing the story where CM Punk apparently is finishing the story. Oh man, I'm fucking hilarious, aren't I? Well, that's basically all we have for the pay-per-view. Normally, these rundowns take about an hour. That's where we're at now. But hey, guess what? Episode's not over, baby. Now we're going to watch through the rest of this Extreme Rules pay-per-view and talk a little bit of shit and hang out. And also, if I didn't tell you before, which I definitely did in the War Games episode, Happy Thanksgiving. As you can tell, that cough drop didn't do shit for me. Throat's still been dry as hell. Still been coughing. Hate it. You know who would hate it even more, though? My co-host Dylan. He hates when... He's a borderline hypochondriac, in a sense. He's not all the way hypochondriac, but if you show any sign of sickness, he is precautious. And that's fair enough, especially post-COVID era. That's fair enough. Going back to fucking Punk, man. I don't know if we're doing the CM Punk Through the Table now. I don't know if that changes it or not. I know In fact, let me fucking read you his text message. Let's get a little personal. I texted Dylan last night about CM Punk, and he had some words to say. Let's read you the conversation. I texted him afterwards. I said, speechless. He said, legitimately pissed off. I said, I wouldn't say I'm pissed, but I'm definitely confused. He said, I don't know. I just have no desire to see this man anymore. There are so many people that could use the TV time he's about to take in a business he only cares about money from. He's about to take in money from a business he only cares about. I could see what he's saying, Message got a little jumbled up, but we get what he's saying there. His stance is valid, so. Still, and also he did say, still, the fans wanted it, and we've been wanting them to listen to us. So, Will Ospreay, WCW World Champion, beats Dragunov. Dragunov was a hell of a champion. Who's to say he won't be champion again? This is fun. Carl Anderson versus Akira Tozawa in a backstage brawl. Let's go. Being have to Russian leg sweep him onto the concrete. Carl. Damn, Carl. I said, you're not going to be down there. I'm going up here. I once wrestled a whole match up here in a backstage brawl. I said, we're going to wrestle the whole match on this fucking line of crates. Speaking of crates, I need to do, for those that have been asking, I need to do the November Pro Wrestling Tees unboxing crate, or unboxing video. Damn, everything's getting fucked up today. Haven't had time to do it lately. Been moving some stuff around here in the studio too, so environment hadn't been right. We're almost at the end of November, and when we come back your way here on Wrestling in the Middle, I believe we will be in December, no? Unless I'm stupid. I actually can be stupid sometimes. We might be just at the end of November or entering at the beginning of December. Let's go ahead and check our calendar here. So, yeah, next time we come to you will be in December. I'm hoping to get that unboxing video put out before then. Life's been moving. Also planning on being on the road in December. So since we got some free time too to talk about it, I will be on the road to Dallas for a week, covering the AEW ROH stuff going on out there. And then around that same time, that week, I'll be hanging out with a good friend of mine who is a wrestler down there in the DFW area for the CWF, goes by the name Dewey Frost, and he's somebody I've known for quite some time. He's been training to be a wrestler for several years, and he's kind of working his way up now. So he is going to fill in for my co-host Dylan that week and help me out with the podcast, and we're going to get an interview with him. And then coming back that next week, we have an independent wrestler out here in the Odessa, Texas area who is wrestling for several promotions. In fact, let me go ahead and pull you up the email he sent me. And we have kind of agreed to schedule this interview with him, I believe, the week after I come back. And so that would probably air, right at the beginning of the year. But he wrestles here in Odessa for Texas Hardcore Wrestling, and he has performed an Elite Breakout in San Antonio, which I'll be going to San Antonio that following week for another AEW show. Also, he performs in Fearless Pro outside in Houston. So we checked out his stuff. We'll give you some more information on him once he sends it, because he's a local talent and he's just getting started out here. But we got some independent wrestler interviews coming up, and that also allows me to talk about something I've been wanting to do since we started this show. Since the inception of the show, this, as much as we love wrestling, and holy shit, poor Tozawa. Y'all saw that power bomb. Tozawa just got fucking flatlined. I'm so sorry. How to get back on track after that gnarly ass power bomb. When I started this show, it is about wrestling, and it'll always be about wrestling, but it's more for us. It's more for the fans. This is a fan-based show, and I want to talk to you guys. I want to sit down and have some fan interviews. I want to get on the phone with my buddy Adam Goldberg and interview him, and trying to get that set up. And if you're a listener, and you've been a listener, and if you're one of our paid subscribers too, especially, and you want to lay out your opinion on something, contact us. Email us at wrestlingmiddle@gmail.com and say, hey, I'm a fan of the show. I've left you a 5-star review. I want to do an interview. And we will set something up, because this is to talk to the fans. So just keep that in mind, guys. Come talk to us. We are not here to tell you guys anything. We're here to talk to you guys about everything. And that's all this show is just talking. You can see me trying to figure out who I was going to be in that match, and I literally could not decide who I was going to put the hardcore title on, so I simulated that one. Fucking Undertaker wins the hardcore title. Main event, not hardcore, Hell in a Cell match, Roderick Strong versus Adam Cole. Watch me not know who to pick here either. Yeah, I did that number. Said, okay, I'm Adam Cole. I couldn't decide who I wanted to be, so I just did that number where I held the button down, let it randomly select. I'll be whichever one. And as you can see, Adam Cole was the victor of that choice. I can't fucking express enough how much I miss my co-host. I say it every time I have to do a show alone. It's next to impossible to do a show without somebody's input, because you have nobody giving you anything back. You have nobody giving you their opinion. You have nobody giving you backup input. Someone backing your point. That motherfucker really said never say never. I'm gonna shout out this motherfucker at MT Plug Grinder. Guys, this match can literally happen now. What the fuck is going on? A picture of CM Punk and Logan Paul. What? Here's my question. When Survivor Series went off the air, Seth Rollins went about being pissed off that CM Punk returned, and he was yelling and whatnot, and Michael Cole, of all people, is holding him back. Michael Cole is holding him back. I don't get that. I don't get that at all. That's another thing about not having a co-host, is Dylan would be here and he would fucking laugh at that and he would react to that, because what the fuck is that? Michael Cole, you don't hold nobody back. Ugh. I wonder. It's a fucking Thanksgiving special. It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer. That's the energy I got right now. Veering towards the latter part of this episode it's the fucking Thanksgiving special, guys. Fucking interesting shit going on. I'm literally gonna text Dylan right now and I'm gonna be like, what are you doing? Let's see what he says. This is live in real time. Let's see what Dylan's up to while we watch this Hell in a Cell match with Roderick Strong and Adam Cole. I'm gonna ask him, how's your day off going? I like half-ass hear music in a distance. It's probably outside in the parking lot or something. I was like, why do I half-ass hear music somewhere? Maybe I'm just going crazy. That's what it feels like the most. Turn my do not disturb off. I love that they're both in Undisputed Era gear too. That's what makes this rivalry not 4 stars, but 5 stars. I'm gonna hop back on Twitter and see what Twitter's saying. See what all you guys are talking about. You can follow me on Twitter at 5-star Basile or follow the podcast at Wrestling Middle. We've recently passed 1,000 followers on Twitter, and we're really thankful to all you guys for keeping up with us and giving a fuck what we have to say, because we give a fuck what you guys have to say too. Let's see, scrolling through here. He has not. I feel like I'm being clickbaited right now when I see a headline, Triple H addresses Jade Cargill's status. Okay. Which again, I didn't watch the fucking media scrum or press conference afterwards, so I'm not really sure what was said there. Mm-hmm. He just said he wants to make sure Cargill is adequately prepared for whatever could be thrown at her. Yeah. I kind of agree with him in the sense that he said, we want people to get familiar with her, and then when she does actually come in, it's massive. It's a big deal, and so I can agree and resonate with that. I'll tell you, though, if Dylan doesn't text back, it's going to make for a very boring pursuit. Oh my goodness. Man, sorry I got quiet. This fucking Hell in a Cell match is impeccable. I know I'm being Adam Cole, but watching this match back, I'm like rooting for Roderick Strong. I'm rooting for him hard. Yeah, I can like all the way hear music off in the distance. And you know what? It's not a thing of like they need to shut the fuck up. It's not that at all. More power to him. I hear it, and I'm acknowledging that I hear it, and it threw me off a little bit. I should have just fucking called him instead of saying, hey, send a text message on the show. Should have just blatantly called him at 9 in the morning and been like, get up. Let me ask you how you feel about CM Punk. That's how I feel. It's almost like you could only faintly hear the music, and then once I started acknowledging it, it got louder. That's always funny. 100%. I'm pretty sure somebody downstairs is just listening to me record the podcast and is like, hey, let's fuck it up. And honestly, I'm a 5-star audio engineer. They're not fucking shit up. So that's what's really funny to me. Dude, flaming table spot. You cannot deny me a flaming table spot. Poor fucking Roddy, man. And he got right up. He took a flaming table spot and got right up like a fucking champion. Even I was like, what do I do then? What do you do here? DDT him. A good tornado DDT will show him. Oh, I'm sorry, Roddy. I'm sorry. Poor Roddy. Poor Roddy. Poor Roddy. 2. Psych. Project Strong. His neck strong. He kicks out. I was like, what the hell do you do, man? How do you take him out? Said signature. Hit him with the boom drop. 2, 3. Adam Cole, baby. The plans here creatively are to maybe now try to get them to form a tag team, but I need Adam Cole on a world title run. I feel like that's the direction I want to go. So it's tough to navigate with such a stacked roster. He should have been on the other show, to be honest. He should have been on a completely different... I should have put him on SmackDown. But at the same time, like, who's complaining, man? This WCW roster's stacked. Okay, let's see what Raw had to do. Man, ain't nobody want to see this. Jerry hat trick versus Lurch Evans. That ain't it, fam. That ain't it. Poor Molly. Poor Molly Holly. Sassy Molassy. Brie Bella getting over on Sassy Molassy. Oh, WWE title match. Kevin Owens, US and WWE champion over there. Good for him. Hey, I was just talking on this show about Kevin Owens deserving to be the champion. Okay, here we go. Submission match for the Universal title. Let's go, Taz. Taz has always been in my top 5, which arguably now top 10. My list of favorite wrestlers just grows and expands and changes up so much. It's unfair. There's always the all-time favorites like, Terry Funk and Rob Van Dam. But when Dean Ambrose came on, I was a big Dean Ambrose guy, which of course John Moxley guy. I didn't know much about John Moxley before Dean Ambrose, admittingly. He replaced that for me, and Kenny Omega then replaced like everything, because Kenny Omega is the greatest professional wrestler of all time. There's so many debates. Will Ospreay and MJF have entered the conversation with fucking ease this year. This 2023 year, MJF and Will Ospreay both have entered that top 5 conversation. And that pushes Taz out a little bit. And I don't like Taz to get pushed out because Taz has always been one of my favorites. So it's hard to pick favorite wrestlers, man. It just is. Oh, I got a good stretch. It's different recording an episode this long. I don't know how some people run podcast episodes that are like 3 hours. Like, how do you just sit in a chair for 3 hours? I guess they probably got more comfortable chairs than we have. If you're looking to sponsor this podcast and help us upgrade our studio equipment, contact us at wrestlingmiddle@gmail.com. wrestlingmiddle@gmail.com. Hit us up. What's going on the Tweet Factory? There's still just people talking about CM Punk. Still doesn't feel real. Punk on Raw on Monday. Man. Never say never. It's like the tagline for everybody is never say never. You know what I think? This needs to be said. I don't think Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, a lot of people, other than like a very, very close-knit circle, I don't think a lot of people knew CM Punk was going to return. I think a lot of those reactions people have are genuine. I don't think it's work. I really think like they kept it under wraps as hard as they could because they knew how big of a deal it was. Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre probably didn't know CM Punk was coming back at the end of that show, and they were like, what the fuck is going on for real? Like, it was news to them as well in that moment. That's just my sense. That's my 2 cents, I mean. Swerve Strickland with that Universal title looks great. But I chose Taz, as we know. That's also not to say that I can't lose the match, because as you will so eloquently see in the War Games episode, spoiler alert, I lose one of the matches. I lose one of the War Games matches. So, it's not always the implication that just because I'm playing the match, I'm going to win the match too. David Benoit started a live video. What's David Benoit doing live right now? Turn the audio up. And request to join. Should I request to join David Benoit's live video?
Can you join WWE? Why? Oh, because CM Punk went there? I did see it, yes. Yes. Oh.
I'm gonna ask him if he's doing okay.
Zella, bro. Yep.
Just like the fuck. Just like the interview.
Punk, man. Who's under the MDF devil mask? I don't know. Surviving you. Hello. There you go.
This is weird.
A long time no see. Yeah.
He has this like weird demeanor on his face, man. It's creeping me out.
That guy, I told someone, he didn't believe me, so guess I was right.
His video's skipping out. I apologize. And I don't know who he's responding to. There's a bunch of comments he's trying to respond
Dave, you
to.
seem tired. Yeah, I'm not, it's just, CM Punk, yep. He went back.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. He looks a little bit more than tired in this video right now, and his demeanor makes me think
What do
that
I give TNA?
he's on something.
games of wrestling. Now you're funny. Bye.
That's it. That was it. No, he's still here. Maybe he doesn't know how to turn the camera off.
Bro, I know. It's crazy.
Are you
Do
drunk?
another Chris Van Fleet interview.
Somebody
They
else.
pay me this time.
He said,
No.
if you
It's
pay me
fucking
this time.
9:03 in the morning here. I don't drink. You still in Calgary? No.
No, he said it with fucking offense. Like he was offended.
Rhea Ripley, yeah. Thoughts on CM Punk? What do you want me to say? He went back. Good for him.
So many people, of course, saying CM Punk, but so many people ask if he's on
Are
drugs.
you on drugs? Just underscore rage? No. Go fuck yourself. How about that? Bye-bye.
When he says bye, he's blocking people. I thought he was like ending the video.
What about CM Punk returning?
Man,
What about Seth Rollins' reaction?
he was like, what of it?
Hey, you guys are 2 hours ahead.
It's fucking funny.
I know. I used to live in Atlanta. Miss it down there.
Let's see. I'm gonna request to get in one more time.
Just enjoy the ride. Yeah, I know. You're East Coast time. CM Punk. CM Punk. What about CM Punk?
I'm gonna type in the message too. I don't want to talk about CM Punk.
I like Paul Heyman. I guess CM Punk's coming to Perth, Australia for Elimination Chamber. You over it? What about it?
Someone asked if he's over wrestling.
Yep, sure was.
Huh.
Probably Here Comes the Pain. Chicago's always a great wrestling crowd. It's a great town for wrestling, man. It's a great town for wrestling.
Let's see. Send a request one more time.
No, I haven't watched Heels on Stars.
And then he starts nananang. That's hilarious.
I don't know, man. Is MJF the next megastar in wrestling? I don't know. Probably, maybe.
Taz, the winner of the fucking Universal title match. Taz is my new Universal champion here in GM mode.
I don't know, ask AEW.
Doesn't look like David Benoit will accept the request, which I'm sure I'm not the only person requesting.
Can I watch the Iron Claw? Probably.
I keep saying it one more time, but this for real is the last
Current
time.
wrestler. In what company?
Let's see. He literally just got silent. Started waving his head,
Sure.
so maybe.
Yep, training every day.
He said, yeah, he's training every day, but he also seems to be over wrestling.
Subway.
What about Subway?
I can't say your name. Have a good one.
Yeah, he just ended the video after that. It would have been nice to get him in an interview or something like that. I mean, I was trying to reach out to him and get an interview beforehand. I was trying to get an interview back when we were doing the Benoit series, but hey, a fucking unsuspected surprise watching David Benoit's live video. He seemed a bit out of it, which Not my place to judge by any means, guys. It's not my place to judge at all. Oh my goodness. What a fucking week in wrestling, am I right? In case you didn't know, I don't know how you didn't know if you listened to the episode all the way up to this point. A motherfucker named CM Punk is back. In WWE. He's not just back, he's back in WWE. Like I said at the top of the show, you let me know when that sentence feels real to you, because it certainly hasn't been feeling real to me. It's about as real as this Jon Moxley created Community Creations character. He looks so off in the entrance. I think when the match plays out, he looks a little bit more to feature. I don't know, it's weird. It's just weird. That's all I can say. That fucking David Benoit. That video was something else. Everybody looking for Punk versus Rollins at WrestleMania. Bryan Danielson, everybody. Scrolling through Twitter again, my apologies. I want to see if I can find some shit to call out, mention, whatever. Just kind of kill time while we get through these entrances, watch these last few matches of the pay-per-view, and head into what I'm expecting to be an even crazier week. Now, here's what I'm finna call out. Kayla Braxton's bitch ass saying, I guess the grass is greener over here. Huh. That's fucked up. Referencing the fucking Punk promo. He's like, if you think grass is so green on the other side, be my guest. Here she is. Playing the fucking audio. Sorry for the pop.
Look at Jay and Randy in the back showing love to each other while things get heated between Seth and Punk after more games goes off air.
Seth looks like legitimately mad. Why is Michael Cole the one to hold him back? Why, of all people, was Michael Cole the guy that they're like holding back? Maybe because nobody actually wants to hit Michael Cole in real life. Everybody would feel really bad if they hit Michael Cole. Hello, Claudio Castagnoli. He's tag champ. And so am I in real life. One half of the Wrestling in the Middle tag team champions. But as this episode today has shown us, you cannot be one half of the tag team champions successfully unless you're Maxwell Jacob Friedman, which even he needs a little help. This week, I feel like I definitely needed some help in doing this episode, but I think we all hopped in this car and rode the journey together just smoothly enough. And Thanksgiving special has definitely been one for the fucking books. A lot of unexpected shit happened in going into this episode and coming out of it. I'm just glad things, knock on wood, I'm just glad things went right this time, because that first time I was on a roll. I was hot in the first 20 minutes, and then my episode got fucked up. I don't take kindly to that. I tried everything I could for like a good hour-long period trying to figure out, okay, how can I get this audio back? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It feels awkward too that Claudio's tag team champion with Farouk and is facing Danielson and Moxley. Who knows? Maybe we see Claudio turn here and form the BCC, the WWE BCC. Bland tag titles. You gotta love them. Certainly love my championship belts that I got. None of them bland, all of them grand. Bars. Strap this over my shoulder. Y'all can't see me right now, John Cena, but I got my belt over my shoulder. I'm feeling good. Watching this tornado tag match. Underrated, the tornado tag. There you go. Just go straight for the table. I'm addicted to fucking table spots. I'll say it. I'm addicted to fucking table spots. Also, a little bit early. I'm a day early with it, but happy birthday to my amazing girlfriend Alyssa, who keeps me grounded and keeps me from overdoing it when it comes to being a wrestling fan. Her birthday tomorrow, 28th. So, happy birthday, Alyssa. This next table spot is dedicated to her. Pick him up for that power bomb. Happy birthday to you. Claudio went through, but he kicked out. It's going to take more than a fucking good table spot to take Claudio Castagnoli out. Be real. He said, I'm getting a bat. I don't know how he fell for that. He saw me come in with the bat and he just fell for it, so. He didn't fall for it that time, that's for certain. Now. You thought I was going for the pin. He hit the fucking dirty deeds. I mean, if the ref didn't take 20 years to fucking count, the match would have been over right there. The fact that she counted 1 and then waited that long before doing a damn thing, yeah. Not Farouk's smartest moment either. You don't just put yourself 1-on-2 against Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson. I love that he did his taunt. Punch, 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 punch. Throw him out of the ring. I love doing that shit. That's just one of my favorite things to do in the game, period. Just this idea that you can powerbomb somebody outside of the ring. And in this video game world, like, it's okay. They don't break their necks and they don't get seriously injured. And so it's like okay a little bit, you know? It's like, damn, Another table it is. Oh, well, that backfired on me now, didn't it? Dude, Claudio with the fucking spine busters, man. He's busting them spines. Got him. Got him. Just basically turned to a madman with a fucking chair. What a hell of a fucking tornado tag match this turned out to be. Enziguri by Claudio. That's a good one. Fuck him up. Fuck him up, Mox. Oh, we got a text message back from Dylan. Let's see what he said. How's your day off going, was the text. Fulfilling it, job apps for seasonal work and planning lessons, never truly a day off. Poor guy. I don't know, Dylan actually works really hard as a tutor at Odessa College here, and he's trying to find a little bit of seasonal work as well to make some extra money, because we're not making quite a bit of money here at the podcast, but we're making a little bit, and that's thanks to our lovely sponsors that come in from week to week. That's thanks to our lovely monthly subscribers, and we appreciate everything you guys do to help us keep the lights on and keep this show running. So, that said, we do got to do a little bit of work on the side. Most of y'all, if y'all don't know me from before this show, I've worked in music for several years. That's what I've done. So most of my money comes from royalties that I made from working my ass off in music for over a fucking decade. Yeah. What should we tell him? Let's see. Was hoping it'd be more relaxed. But hey, what can you do? We can't wait to have you back next week, Dylan. New tag champs, Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson. Suck on those eggs. In the wise words of Terry Funk, you can suck on those eggs. Man, that's how you know I'm not allowed to. It's not that I'm not allowed to run a 2-hour show. I'm not allowed to run a 2-hour show by myself. Let's face it, that's facts. 100% not allowed to run a 2-hour program by myself, because the end of 2 hours, your boy is beat. I feel beat up and beat down. See who the IC champion is. Still Wade Barrett. And it's still Wade Barrett. Okay? Women's tag champs. I knew I wasn't trying to play through a tag team Hell in a Cell match after playing through a tag team Extreme Rules match. So I was like, simulate it. It's going to be a 5-star finish. And it was. Ah, yes. The opposing brand show. Their fucking Adam Pearce's pay-per-view card was whack. It is whack, bro. Straight up, that's not it. That's not it. Ezekiel calls out Itchy Face, and Ignition faces Tamina and goes over on her, but it's disappointing. While Rey Mysterio's calling out Yokozuna, that's actually pretty interesting. Stacy Keibler burying Caden Carter. Robert Roode talking about himself. Nothing happened. No popularity change. And then aforementioned Yokozuna injures R-Truth. I had a good fucking pay-per-view on both shows. I fucked them up. Which, normally that's how GM etiquette goes. You have a shit week trying to build up to a pay-per-view and then blow everybody else out of the water at the pay-per-view. And it kind of ratios itself back out a little bit. Fucking fun playing GM mode, and I can't wait to extend it. I think around Christmas time is when you'll see the next installation of a GM mode. Will probably be a little less news oriented around that time and just kind of focus more in on that. Also, really hoping my friend Dylan will be there at that time too. But for now, this installment of GM mode and the Thanksgiving special has been, despite what I thought going in, has been a fucking blast. And thank you everybody, all our true loyal fans that came in for 2 hours, listened, had a fun time, and did the whole deal. Because you guys really make this show worth doing. I'm having the time of my life doing this show, and I'm so grateful to all the positive support and feedback we've gotten since starting it. Literally, you guys have shown me that people can like you for who you are and not necessarily what you do. And so for that, like I said, I thank you endlessly. And I hope next time we watch GM mode, I'll be getting WCW and SmackDown into the top positions. Because as of right now, I think I'm only like second or third in rankings. So we'll hope to improve on that. Hope to improve on just being a better wrestling fan. And who knows, maybe in the future we don't have to talk about CM Punk so much either. I don't know. I really don't know. The only thing I will say for sure is that next week my co-host is coming back and I'm fucking ecstatic for it. Let's go.
All night, baby, I keep it going. Catching flight after flight, hit me up and